Hey, I'm Scott Sullivan. This article reviewed is the mindsets of medical education leaders. How do they conceive of their work? It was an article that was done by two researchers. One was a director of academic leadership development, and the other was a fellowship director at the University of Toronto. It involved interviewing 16 medical education leaders at the University of Toronto. The Bolman and Dill's four-frame model was used to examine how these educational leaders perceived their roles in leadership and education development. The themes of the article are how a leader views their own organization and how it influences their beliefs, the best way to go about influencing their organization. A review of the four frames was within the body of the article. Here are the four frames. There was an additional frame discovered by the educational leaders that were interviewed, which was interpersonal skills and work style, and that will be discussed later. The human resource frame was reviewed. It was noted to be the most popular among all 16 leaders. As I think a lot of us would agree, it was the most popular among several of us. The human resource aspect deals with viewing the people and not the machine as the investment. The people's skills, attitudes, and energy all play a role in making or breaking the organization. A review of the political frame was also undertaken. It was noted that leaders need the skills to build cohesion and manage conflict. Strategies were needed to be developed to mitigate conflict, power struggles, and differences of interest. The symbolic frame deals with leaders creating symbols that help the members find purpose and passion in their work. Examples are leading by example and reinforcing the organization's history, tradition, and values. Problems were noted to arise when symbols lose their meaning, and a good example was given within the body of the article as far as instructors and ways they can go about including the history and symbolism behind their particular university. The structural frame involves having clear, well understood goals and roles of the individuals. Clear structure to the task is key. All four frames are noted to be important, but all four frames must be combined in a comprehensive approach in leadership and medical education. 5 pilot interviews were conducted to develop the questions. The leaders were asked to elaborate on their perspectives, roles, and functions. Schoen's work on reflective practice was used. Questions used were, how do you think your organization really gets things done? What is your biggest barrier to making things happen? And when things are not moving along, do you analyze that? The human resource themes that were found to be most important were the leaders felt that faculty and students should be valued, supported, and cared for, and that should be put into alignment with the faculty's and organization's needs. The political frame themes that were found to be most important were stressing the importance of being able to recognize and engage in the students' interest and create support for their interest. They stressed connecting students' interests to ideas or projects, which makes sense. They also thought that it was seen to be important to align external group expectations with the agenda, but not to the extent of disrupting the agenda at hand. In other words, bend, do not break. Symbolic themes of importance were vision and direction, as buy-in allows students to join into the movement. An interesting theme that was agreed upon was that students' discussions and questions were often left towards the end, placing a symbolic lack of meaning on appreciation of their ideas and participation. History was stressed as having importance. The leaders noted that history and how things have been done and what works are important in promoting growth. Structural themes of importance that were noted among the leaders were that unlinked individuals were seen as obstacles. It was also noted that clarity of the roles and responsibilities of everyone and what was expected helped overall performance. And the additional frame that was found in the study was interpersonal and work style. Its themes of importance were noted. The leaders noted that it was important to understand how people relate to each other and work with each other. They brought up the concern of individuals who may have good ideas but may not have the best interpersonal skills. The concern is, where do you bring these people in? Where are they placed within the team, if at all? So that was an interesting frame that was noted from this study. It was an additional fifth frame. The results of the study were that all four frames were used by 14 of 16 faculty education leaders. The human resources frame was favored by all 16. Symbolic and political closely followed as favorites behind human resource. Only 3 placed any emphasis on the structural frame, which was interesting. And also a new frame was discovered, which was assessing interpersonal and work style in order to determine how to socially situate individuals. The study concluded that Bolman and Dill's 4-frame model is useful, that leaders are able to reflect on the organization, and the 4 frames should be used in medical education leadership.